fans of the Horus Heresy, Warhammer 40,000 and the god engines of Ecclesia Titanica, thank you very much for joining me for an out-of-the-pack review of Adeptus Titanicus from the Horus Heresy. Grandmaster Edition box game. After much hype, extending over at least 2, maybe 3 years, the game has finally been released. This is a re-imaging of the 1988 classic of the same name, Adeptus Titanicus. Adeptus Titanicus was the first game that Games Workshop ever produced that was actually set in the Horus Heresy. And 3 decades on, we have a new version. A long time's passed and a lot of ideas have changed. However, I think probably there are things that are still true to the original. So this is the Grandmaster Edition. It's the biggest box game that Games Workshop stroke Specialist Games has ever produced. I picked this up today on the release date, so that's the 18th of August. So that is the 18th of August. I haven't been to a launch party for Adeptus Titanicus. I went to another party, I went to a cocktail party last night. So fortunately, if you follow me on Twitter, that I survived all those porn star martinis and Negronis just fine. So we are nice and fresh from boxing this game. Let's get the price out of the way. Retail price on this, as I've discussed before, this is £175. I picked mine up at Patriot Games in Leeds for £140. So this is sold by the independent retailer network. Right, before we get in with the knife, let's have a quick box tour. This is a big box. It's the size of normal Games Workshop box sets, although it's double depth. So yeah, quite standard stuff there. But if we look on the back, we get to see the content, and this is what we're particularly interested in. So what do you get in this box? 2 Warlord Titans, 6 Questoris Knights, a set of Sector Civilitaris, I think it's called, buildings, and then you get the rule books, the templates, reference sheets, 2 Knight Command Terminals, 24 mission cards and stratagems, 20 dice, 28 Titan weapon cards, and 6 Titan command consoles. So clearly there's a bit of future proofing in there because you get some extra stuff that you don't need for the main game. And it'll be interesting to see what these command consoles are. I think it's not just the Warlords we get. Anyway, that's a lot of procrastination. Let us get into this box because I don't know about you, but I am really excited to have a look at this. Interesting point on the branding. Here we have, in the corner it says Warhammer 40,000 Universe. And I think this is to try, I guess, anchor this game in the brand. So people do know this is a Warhammer 40,000 game. And shall we say, perhaps remove any confusion as to what the Horus Heresy is, because if you mainly play 40k and perhaps haven't played as much, or of a younger generation, you won't be so familiar with the idea of a Horus Heresy, which is let's call it a prequel event to the main 40k. Titan battles. Let's have a look. I guess the first observation I have is box quality is very high. This is made out of thick, heavy cardstock. Lovely new game smell there, so very nice, but this is a robust box, so I think it will serve well as a transportation medium for the game once it's assembled. And I've actually seen some companies who have already designed foam cutouts to take all the models and the rules and the other bits for this box, which is quite a neat idea. Let's now take a look. So I'm going to move the box off to one side and then we can unbox into this space here. So firstly, we have some blast templates. What we've got here is what used to be the blast, large blast, and flamer marker. These old GW designs have been given a new lease of life in Adeptus Titanicus, but nothing particularly exciting there. What is more exciting is the miniatures. Let's get straight into it, looking at the first of the Warlord Titans. Wow. So I've not seen this before. This is the first time I've looked at this sprue, so I've really looked at this. I've seen these at game show events, but I'm really just taking it all in now. Yeah, this all looks really, really cool. And the detailing on these is wonderful. Really nicely done. What we do know is this game has been entirely redesigned from resin into a plastic format, and that is one of the reasons why it took so long to get out. As I said, we've had almost 3 years of hype around Adeptus Titanicus, a new version. So looking at this, I've built a Warlord, a full-size Warlord, and it's very interesting to see the smaller rendition. So I guess the first observation is we've got 2 variant heads on the Warlord. So there's one with the heraldry, and then there's one which is a planar. So that's nice. Then we've got parts for the 2 bellicose volcano cannons and the 2 apocalypse missile launchers, which are the armament on the Warlords in this set. So second sprue, this is the same drill. So we get 2 Warlords. So let's work out how many Warlord Titans we get out of a sprue, or how many sprues we need for a Warlord. Oh, right, just to tease us, we now have the Knights. So I'm going to put the Knights to one side, and we're going to crack on with the Warlords. Next sprue on the Warlord, I'm going to move those out of the way, so otherwise we can't see them against the new hobby desk, as you see here. Yeah. Nice little oak finish hobby desk. And here we have the second sprue for the Warlord. So we've got the shoulder guards, the leg armour. This is the top of the carapace. 2 designs on, or 3 designs actually, on shoulder armature. So we have the Eye of Horus icon, clear, and the Collegia Titanica. So nice. We've got the main armature carapace with the eagle design on it. Lovely. The rendition on the detail of this is very well done. And as I say, having built this in full size, this is like it really does look like a miniaturized version of the Forge World one. And a great amount of detail has been preserved. There's the toe pistons. So I'm encouraged that the legs are going to be fully posable. So let's do the next sprue. So that's the same one again. And here we have the 3rd sprue of the Warlord. So what has this got on it? So we've got the feet, we've got the legs, those are the lower legs, there's the upper leg, hip assembly, lower torso, main torso elements, beautiful detail. We've got the gyros, or the suspensors, the rear mounted Ardex Defensor las cannons, and Ardex Defensor Mauler bolt cannons. I don't know if they're called that as a weapon option in this game, but that's certainly what they're called in the full size version. Yeah, this is the front of the torso where the head will mount into here. The feet, so the feet have got the toes attached, so you can't really pose the toes, it would seem, but the pistons are separate and the legs are separate, so you can pose the legs. So that is a really cool. That's lovely. That is. Oh, never forgot. And these are like the void shield, the ridges that mount the void shield generators running down the back, and these are the actual void shield generators. That's lovely. It would seem then that each Warlord has 3 sprues. So I'm going to just put these into sets of 3. So there you go. 1, 2, 3 sprues is a single Warlord Titan. So that's quite a good size kit. Yeah, and these, in terms of size, these sit somewhere between, let's say, the Tau Riptide Battlesuit and a Questoris Knight. And price-wise, retail, it's £65. So pricing-wise, I think it is consistent with the rest of the range. Yeah, going to be fun to build. Can't wait to build it. That's one of my jobs today. I will be building my Warlord. I'm going halves on this with a mate. So we're splitting that cost, which was, in this case, £140, so £70 each. So yeah, I'll be getting my Warlord together. Right, let's press on. We then get 2 sprues of Questoris Knights. Now, the Questoris Knights, it's a very compact little kit, and you get all the parts on one sprue to make 3 Knights. Now, let's dive on in. So, distinct carapaces, part of a melter weapon, I believe, Reaper chainsaw, get 1, 2, 3 Reaper chainsaws. A variety of heraldic devices. Do you get any head options? You get 1, 2, 3 heads. I don't think you get any head options, but you do get these lovely little components, don't you? You get the feet. There's the details on the feet. Yeah, no, it's really good. The heavy stubbers, part of the, that's a battle cannon, the rotary cannon, and then that's a melter cannon. Okay, right, so you get the weapons to do one of each option. So the rotary barreled cannon, I just forget what you call that. Is it Gatling cannon, I believe. A Magna melter cannon, and then a Questoris rapid fire battle cannon. But yeah, so no options on here. But a nice little compact kit. These sell for 20 quid a go. Or if you get them discounted, you should be able to pick them up for around 16. So price-wise, I guess if you look at it one way, and a Space Marine Aggressor costs £30 retail for 3, whereas these are £20 retail for 3. So yeah, think about that in terms of the cost. It's a nice model, isn't it? Right, now we've got a whole stack of other bits. Yeah, right, got all sorts here. Right, so let's start with the terrain. So these are the, what I think it's called Sector Civitas. Games Workshop is very keen on this style of terrain these days, plastic sprue-built terrain. Of course, in the original Adeptus Titanicus game, you got 6 high-density polystyrene, high-density expanded polystyrene city block buildings, and you could put them separately or you could clip them together to make a single large building, and you got 6 halves or 3 whole ones. So yeah, you do get some terrain. I think the terrain, those buildings were large enough to hide a Titan behind. These, I'm not sure if they're quite large enough, but I think tactically they're more there for the night side of the game. We've got another section there, and another section there. So are they? I think these are repeats. So you get 2 of those, and then you, right, so you get 4 of those, then you get another sprue design, which is this one, which looks like it's going to make up slightly larger buildings. As I understand it, and I don't yet know exactly how this works, these buildings are modular, so you can put them together. Once you've assembled the basic components or the basic modules, you can then put them together in a number of other different ways to make larger building assemblies or larger city blocks. And of the larger building set, you get not 1, 2, oops, a little camera smash there, 3, and then 4. That's a lot of terrain, it feels. Yeah, quite a bit to build there. Very excited to see how these come out. Yeah, they do look nice. Right, let's put that to one side to keep the filming area free of grey sprue so we can see what we're looking at. So sorry you can't see what we've looked at. Now, the final sprue is this. Now, this has got a few things on it. Right, it's got these doodahs, which are markers for the Titan command consoles. You get a set of markers such as macro cannon and missile battery turrets, which these are the basis for. I don't yet understand how those work in the game. Oh, there you go, there's a missile array. There is the macro cannon. And there's some more. Right, there's some numbered tokens, 1 to 5. Maybe this is some sort of void shield generator. And then these are turning templates. So, I wonder what those different base sizes. Are they turning templates, or maybe they're for fire arcs? Perhaps these are fire arc templates. It'd be interesting to see what those do. The fact that we get them in the base, not in the base, in the kit, in the game, is that's a nice little touch, that. And it should certainly help with the regulation of play. Makes defining fire arcs easy or clearer, because it is quite a crunchy rule set, this, so we've been told. Right, last few physical kind of like model things. A set of 6 40mm bases for the Night Titans, and 2 oval Citadel bases for Warlords. And size wise, I'm not sure how big these are. I don't know if I've got my tape measure to hand. I do. Bear with me one moment. 120 actually. 120 by 90 or 95. So if you're interested as to what the base size is, that's those for the Warlord. Right, so that's the first phase of the game opening. The second phase, so let me show you now what the box looks like having unpacked it. We've now got a little sheet here, which is kind of like a divider between the models and the rules. You've got some instructions there how to put the battlefield assets together. I'm not showing you that, that's just a sales pitch for Citadel Glue. Oh, and then on the reverse of that, well, that's lovely, isn't it? We've printed the box art. Oh, do like that. That's a lovely touch. Maybe we could bob that just over there, just out of shot to the Titanicus backdrop. Here we have the rules and the background material. So firstly, we get a short novel, or a sample chapter, sorry. Yeah, sample chapter. This is Titanicus by Dan Abnett. Certainly one of my favourite Black Library authors. So it'll be interesting to read that. Cool artwork, always get lots of cool artwork with Black Library. And then we've got dice, right, well let's start off with this. You get a single tape measure, or measuring ruler stick. Some people use those. I mean, it means you can play it out of the box. I mean, I'll be using probably a tape measure, but not a bad thing to have. A set of 20 dice. Right, so we have a mixture of D6 and D10s. Let's just get on in here. So, are we going to have a look? So there's, okay, so the D6, that's like so. For a 6, you got the Titanicus badge. Then the D10, that is a regular D10. Then we've got some other dice as well. You've got this dice. I'm not sure what that does. Lots of reactor symbols on it. So, or well, radiation warning symbols. So that's probably going to be something to do with the reactors. And then this dice, which I think this might be some sort of order dice, because I suspect that's first fire, repair, advance, assault, split fire. Not sure what that one is. So that might be some sort of order marker or something. I'm not entirely sure because I don't know the rules yet. You get quite a few of those and quite a few D6. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe of those, 6, 7 of those. And there's one more dice, of which I think there's just the one, yeah, which is marked weapon, head, body, special, leg, and leg. Is this a hit location dice? I'm not sure. Looks that way, doesn't it? Cool. So that says to me there's a good degree of, a decent amount of complexity to this game. Yeah, so dice. So even the dice are telling us something about what's going on. Tricks and tactics. So these are the stratagem cards. So they're fairly good size. Let's have just run those open and have a quick look. Oh, very exciting this. Thermal mines, vital cargo, tricks and tactics, hold the line. Oh, so these, you've got mission cards, maybe some, I don't know, strategies. So you've got a cost there on this range support, artillery bombardment. Battlefield assets, command bastion, comms ray. So those are some of the little models we were looking at earlier. Cripple the foe. So you've got a variety of kind of it's like perk or special abilities and other cards. And you've got a macro cannon battery, and there are the stats. They're good, yeah, good chunky sized cards those. Oops. Unfortunately this one here is a little bit of a production flaw. I'll get that replaced, we'll see. Now have a series of transfer sheets. So we get, I guess these are for the night houses, because I recognise the House Malinax Scorpion, and then these are for the actual Warlord. So they look quite decent transfer sheets. You get a variety of, you get some general markers, and then you get Legio Griffonicus, Furians, Astorum, Atarus, and Mortis. Unfortunately, we don't get Legio Ignatus, the Fire Wasps, which is what I'm interested in. Right, let's do, oh gosh, what have we got now? Let's do this. Well, this is a set of instructions. So these are the instruction booklets for each of the kits. So Ace. They're quite small models, but they do look like they've got a lot to them. And here is a Mighty Warlords instruction pamphlet. I can't remember where I said it, but well, I'll say it again here. Looking through this reminds me of, it's a lot like the instructions for the large full-scale Warlord, just shrunk down a bit. And the Civitas Imperialis, there you go. Civitas Imperialis buildings. This should be pretty straightforward to build. And here we have a quick demo of, so there's your modules. You've got a large, medium, smaller and small, and it just shows you here how they stack together, larger structures. 2 reference sheets. I'm guessing these are key tables. Damage tables, orders, well here are the orders. What was that one? Shutdown, there you go, that's one I couldn't remember. Advance is actually full stride. And repair actions and other things. That was really, so, well, hopefully those are going to be useful game aids. I've got the rulebook and then the Titan cards. Well, let's do the command consoles first and we'll finish with the rulebook. Now, to keep this review a reasonable length, I'm not going to do a detailed look through the rulebook. That's something I may do. Ouch, that hit my foot then, at a later date. So, command consoles, we have, right, what do we have? We've got the Questoris support banner, I guess that's what they're called. Very neat little structure point, so they can take some damage before they get whacked. They're not completely a one shot. And then we actually have the main ones as well. So we get 2 Reavers, we get 2 Warhounds, oops, we get some falling off, and then we get the Titans that come in the game, Warlord. So there's some future proofing with this game, this boxed version of the game, to give you some additional command consoles or expand your game later on. These are like, so firstly you can't see it here, but you probably can, there you go, you can probably see a bit. There's loads of holes punched through for the damage tracks and the critical damage areas. I'll just run one of those past. And here is where you're going to put weapon cards, which are there. It's Titan design on the reverse. Let's do the Reavers first. Let's do this in size order. So your Reaver, 250. How much is a Warlord? 385. Warhound, 180. And you got your Warhound. Now, one interesting thing with these is you can see that the Warhound has just got a left and a right arm weapon. The Reaver's got a left, right and a carapace, but the Warlord also has a carapace. Now, I know that for the Warlord you have a set of paired weapons, so hence you just have a single card as opposed to 2. Right, I think we're at a point now where we can whisk the main box away. Right, let's take a look at this. So these are your weapon cards for the Titans now. Probably going to be all sorts of ways of getting around having weapon cards if you don't want to buy extra ones or anything like that, but for a moment let's just roll with it, roll with the concept. Right, so you get Ariok Titan Power Claw, Reaver Power Fist, Bellicosa Volcano Cannon, Laser Blaster, Paired Gatling Blasters, Turbo Laser Disruptor, Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator. So we get all the weapons for the, it seems here that there's certainly a lot of the weapons for the currently available miniature range, and even one, so the Mori Quake Cannon, that hasn't been released yet by Forge World on the full-size Titan model. So there's some future proofing here and an indication that they are going to bring these weapons to the game. I believe they're all made, all the designs are done. We're just going to see them released over the course of maybe the next 4 to 5 months. One more thing about these. On the reverse, they have weapon disabled. You can flip them on the command console. So Vulcan Mega Bolter, well, you wouldn't have it on a Warlord like that, but you'd flip it like that. Interesting though, it's weapon disabled, not destroyed. That alludes to the fact that in this game, I think just about everything can be repaired given enough time. Right, last but not least, we have the rulebook. It's an unusual step to include a hardbacked rulebook in a box game these days. You looked at the 8th edition Dark Millennium set, it was all softback pamphlets. So I guess this is part of what is driving the cost in this set. Well, first observation, we've got a page marker ribbon, a lovely picture there. So this is, to me, seems to be produced to the same standards as other Forge World books, and it looks really good. So yeah, very nice. Hopefully there's going to be a nice mixture of background, tech and art and rules as well. And this book is, how was this, page 95, so it's only 100 pages long, so it's a fairly short book actually as far as these things go, which is quite interesting. Lots of Titans from the studio collection being turned into art. There's Legio Mortis. House Malinax Knights, a bit of a colourful background there. There's just a quick look. There's clearly an awful lot to go through in a book like that. I think that brings me to the end of this unboxing review. Everything is now out. Let's just bring our Warlord back into view. Quite a lot of stuff in there. As you would expect, it's a expensive game at 175 retail or 140 discounted as I paid for it, but I think as far as Games Workshop goes and Plastic Miniatures and the way they price their games, yeah, I think there's a good amount of stuff in here. Yeah, a good amount of stuff indeed. And these Titan miniatures I think are going to be a new era in plastic miniatures for specialist games and Games Workshop and Forge World as well, perhaps. I'm really looking forward to doing those, and well, I'm also really looking forward to playing the game. I played this game many years ago. I really enjoyed Adeptus Titanicus, and I'm looking forward to revisiting this, but kind of how it's been refluffed. Refluffed, I don't know if that's a word, but the game has been redesigned around the style of the novels for the Titan fight, so I think that's a neat touch. So I like that sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that unboxing and you found it of interest. It's been quite a long video because there's a lot to look at. Please do share your thoughts and comments about this game, this box game. What do you think of it? Have you bought it? Have you not bought it? Are you planning on buying it later on once some of the cheaper models like the Warhound are released as well? As always, very interested to hear your thoughts. One final thought I'll leave you with. I ran a poll for a few days on Twitter asking about this, and I posed four options on the question, and the question was, will you buy Adeptus Titanicus, the new game? And I gave 4 answers, which was basically, I'm going to get the Grandmaster Edition, I want the miniatures only, I'm going to wait for the cheaper models, no, I'm not interested. Adding those up, the real reason I did it was to understand what this was between the not interested and the people who are interested at some point. And what I got out of 200 votes was that 70% of people, these 3 options, were interested in the game, and only 30% of people were not interested in the game. I think this is going to do well, and it's sold very well so far as well. I'm certainly encouraged to see what specialist games have to bring us. Anyway, first I've got to get this lot built and get some games in, so I'll be off to do that. As I say, please share your thoughts and observations in the comment section. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.